Okay, before we get started, I gotta go down this list of people we've offended in the 30 plus podcasts that we have done. Firstly, I'm going to apologize to people with feelings. People that believe in Jesus. The unorthodox Buddhist, if that's a thing. The Jewish community. The ass-hurt Dragon Ball fans. The ass-hurt Supernatural fans. Satan. God. That guy from Subway, I think his name is Jared.
Why are we apologizing to pedophile?
I don't know, apparently we made
When did
fun of
we
him.
insult anyone that was Jewish?
I don't remember. Every ghost alive. Werewolves. Time travelers. Vampires. Someone named Stacy's mom because she's got it going on.
God.
And Satan's lover, Lucifer.
Wait a second, they're two different people? Oh, shit.
Shook.
Ain't nobody used to give a damn. Yeah, I had to go and make a different plan. Yeah, guess who didn't get included? Even though you made me better, yo, I strictly do it for the fam.
Anyway, guys, welcome back to What Grinds Our Gears, the podcast, the only podcast alive that does the weird thing to do the other weird thing to then make a profitable thing, apparently. Never heard the profit part, but you know. As always, you have me, your host, the V, with, of course, Hobbs, and Sally, the sensual vampire slash Viking goddess of all things distraction. And today, my childrens, we're trying to now finally pop Aaron's Lovecraftian horror cherry.
Woo!
Mostly because we're now going over stuff involving H.P. Lovecraft's whole entire thought Oh my god, it's
Share? Your share? You're Mr. Share?
I just noticed her symbol was May.
Welcome in.
They came just as we're about to start. Isn't that gorgeous?
We made it.
So,
Dang it, a cherry.
Want the top hat?
Yeah, I'll take the top hat.
so
It's fancy.
to go over the stuff involving Lovecraft, I'm gonna just point out the giant elephant in the room. And not the sexy elephant named Geraldine.
Oh, Geraldine.
The actual elephant in the room of just H.P. Lovecraft being a white supremacist.
Fact?
Uh-huh.
We all know this man had the looks of a serial killer and hated anyone that wasn't Anglo-Saxon and probably tried to have the Third Reich. However, we're not talking about his career as a known white supremacist.
Look, that's not fair. That's just he overstarched his, nightcap, and it kind of just stuck that way. That wasn't his fault. It was a complete accident.
Linda, why did you put too much starch in with the laundry this time?
I look like a damn wizard. These kids are gonna be calling it other things.
And now I'm going
Then
to
you went
be
and got
like
me the
one of
size
those
is too large.
little
It falls
bouncy
over my
balls.
head. Oh, that's simple. We'll cut holes out of it.
No, we're going to be talking about his known eldritch horrors. Me personally, the only one I remember the most is Azathoth, the blind idiot god. AKA the person that's just like, if he were to cross over boundaries to where our actual reality was, if he were to wake up, we'd all be dead. We're all apparently the dream of the giant flying spaghetti monster from Scientology.
They have a flying giant spaghetti monster too?
You
No,
know
that
about
is the flying spaghetti monster.
There's a real church for that. Like, they are legit. They had to go through the entire process. It's a legit thing.
Well, I know
They even get to wear their special strainer hats, and they get to be in their licenses.
But I didn't know H.P. Lovecraft was the one that started that.
Yeah, he
If
did.
you look at any picture of Azathoth, it literally is the flying spaghetti monster with slightly less detail.
Pretty much.
Is there just like, hello? Hello? Has anyone seen my giant contact lens? Hello?
So
I can't see a fucking thing.
the guy that created Scientology loved H.P. Lovecraft, is what you're telling me?
Yes.
I believe
Yeah.
that 100%.
And based his entire religion
Mm-hmm.
off of this science fiction work.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to point out the striking similarities that a white guy created a religion about a flying spaghetti monster, which was in turn originally created by a white supremacist. I'm drawing lateral lines here.
But wait, come on, Scientology's diverse, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, and it's hatred.
They have
It's
Tom
kind of
Cruise.
diverse and it kind
That's
of hates
not
everybody.
diverse. That's slavery.
Tom Cruise. He's diverse. His last name is Cruise.
They have Tom Cruise and John Travolta, guys.
And they
Come
have
on.
Jada Pinkett Smith, again, slaves.
And enough about Scientology.
And
know
then
what's-
another one is Yog-Sothoth. Basically, the giant gate that people like to call upon and just be like, oh, Yog-Sothoth, I need to make sure my wish is coming true. And, oh god, my innards are gone!
Like the gate from Full Metal Alchemist?
Sort
yes, I knew
of,
someone was gonna
but
say it.
not as friendly.
Yeah. At least with the gate, you actually got some kind of reward for your for your trade. Yog-Sothoth usually just took and went, shouldn't have messed with it. Shouldn't have bothered me.
Right?
That's basic. Again, Lovecraftian stuff makes good
Yeah.
things, but still comes from a bad place. Like Disney.
The only one I knew of was Cthulhu,
We're getting to Cthulhu from
but I
his
think
mother.
that's like the most known.
But you gotta thank his mother for him being born.
True.
Look.
You gotta thank Shib.
Oh.
Not nice word.
I just
Not
laugh
boring.
like just imagine
Not
the South
boring.
Park fracture butthole scene where, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Shib. The
Wait,
black
did y'all make
goat.
H.P. Lovecraft was a racist? Wait,
So
how
that
bad?
one-
That's really bad.
Yeah, it's not even spelled the same. It's got a
It's
U in there.
pronounced the same though.
Oh,
yeah,
I
but
know.
it's pronounced the same. I was gonna say.
It's a,
And it was made because that's what he viewed black women to be, sort of like worm-like creatures that devoured and then gave birth to horrors, like Cthulhu.
Ew.
who then proceeded to fuck shit up with his whole family. Eventually owning Earth. It's rather weird.
I know, it's like he's super
Badass,
racist,
alright.
but he's also kind of pro-black at the same time.
Yeah, the psychology behind it is very strange. It's like, so you hate them, but you make them like these very powerful, terrifying beings
right.
with all the power to consume the earth. Do you love them, or like what's? I have questions.
Well, no, this is actually
Classic psychology.
Hold up, Phoenix has a theory, guys. Phoenix has a theory.
This is actually a common thing with racists, is that they believe, especially if you're racist against African Americans, that they are actually a superior race. For instance, Manson himself stated that African Americans are physically superior to all white beings. They are stronger, they are faster, they are more capable as an individual. However, they are not smarter. They're, for lack of better terms, stupid. So they will need somebody to lead them after they finish killing all the other white people, which is why Manson tried to start Helter Skelter, the war between the blacks and the whites.
Oh.
Because he thought the blacks would win, being physically stronger, and then they'd be like, I don't know how to government.
But see, Manson was less. Manson was crazy. I give him that, but he was less of an egomaniac than many of the white supremacists before. See,
Correct.
classically, people who find another culture or have enslaved another culture for as long as people did, they don't understand that culture and they don't bother trying to figure it out either. And we all know you fear what you don't understand.
Right.
And
And
then
as
make
well,
stuff like Wrath.
Right. You make things up like not only that, but you try to demonize them. You demonize them to make them lower, make everybody else afraid of them along with you. That's classic psychology.
And while you're doing this, Aaron, I gotta add to the list of people we gotta apologize for offending.
Yeah.
No. Don't say it.
No, I'm not. I'm just like, well, we already did
Britney Spears. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, we already know we gotta apologize to Whitney Spears next week. Anyway. Next up,
She is
we're
H.P.
getting
Lovecraft.
very much into the racist aspect of H.P. Lovecraft, and that's not the area I thought we were supposed to be playing in.
So give me a novel. I don't know any stories from him.
The Call of Cthulhu.
Call of Cthulhu is a popular one,
Whisper in the
but there
Darkness.
was another one I can...
Something Dreams.
Yeah,
Forgot
that one too. That one too.
Whisper in the Darkness is a good one. It actually touches mostly on the Elder Gods and the Old Ones. Very much trying to explain pretty much where Cthulhu came from. And I believe, if I remember correctly, it's a prequel to the Call of Cthulhu, because it was all about the why.
So Call of Cthulhu is the most famous one, I take it.
Correct. Then there's also the Color Out of Space.
Here, I'll type it up in our thing.
Can anybody give me like a synopsis of, like, what? Here's a better question. What has H.P. Lovecraft's novels? What have they influenced in literature and
Everything.
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 They
So-
say without H.P. Lovecraft, there would have been no Stephen King.
Literally, a lot of people
Yeah.
say this. Matter of fact, I found the Whisper in Darkness. No, that's a comic book they made of Ugoth. Never mind.
Oh, here we go.
But
Yeah,
basically, everything involving Lovecraftian gods is basically the stuff that makes up all of the structures that we have today. Like, Yog-Sothoth, without him, whatever's creation, there wouldn't have been the gate from Fullmetal Alchemist. Literally just giving the deal of, do you want this in order to gain that, but at the cost of this, the equivalent exchange rate. With Cthulhu, there's also stuff from the video game sides of stuff, like Call of Cthulhu video games, how many people use various things of tropes about how to make big monsters, like Kados in the, what was that movie again? Clash of the Titans, like the newer one that was very shitty, not the
Or
good
Bloodborne
classic
if
one.
you get far enough in the game.
Azathoth and all of his grandchildren making up stuff like Bloodborne and Dark Souls. Without that structure, we wouldn't have the big creatures we have today. And that's a giant problem at the same time.
Well, let's point out that Lovecraftian horror is actually not processed and created by a single individual.
They're not
Yes,
even made by Lovecraft himself.
Well, that's just it, though. It was started and processed, I guess. The original Pantheon was written up by H.P. Lovecraft, but even then, he wasn't the only one working on this. There was actually, I think, 4 other men who were creating stories. And even then, the Lovecraftian stories that were created were actually supposed to be very vague as far as the gods were concerned, so that way you could kind of take them as a template and slap them onto any idea that you felt would fit.
Just
So you
like
create
Arthurian
those.
lore.
Yeah. Which wound up with a huge cult following because of it. A lot of inconsistencies, apparently, because the wiki that I posted in the chat for everybody to look at, if you look at some of these, they for the people who like really delve into the stories and the movies and stuff, there's a lot of inconsistencies if you really like look into like each classification of each Cthulian creature or whatever you want to call it.
We call them
But-
eldritch horrors.
There you go. It seems like a lot of it's left up to interpretation as to what you would classify it as. Either way, it's all squishy, gross stuff. That's what matters most.
Like, I think it's pronounced Ithagoth.
Yes.
His classification as old ones or an outer god switches depending on which book you read or which game you play.
Or what movie you watch,
He
apparently.
switches from and there is a difference. It's not like, oh, these are just titles for, like, these are here. The outer gods are basically like Azathoth, and those who are designed specifically to keep Azathoth asleep. There are, I think, 8 gods.
I
that
believe 8,
move
last I
around
checked.
Azathoth, creating music with demonic flutes that keep him asleep. If they ever stop, he wakes up, bad shit happens. Those are the outer gods. The old ones are not necessarily gods, they're actually a race of beings that supersede humanity and supersede life as an existence. Then there's the elder gods, the great ones. There's a lot of different pieces to this, from what I understand.
It's a very deep-rooted cult. I mean, mythos.
No, it's a cult.
It's a cult mythos.
Because here's the thing. If you read any of the Lovecraftian stories, they mention at least twice in every single book that this is not real. They have to. Because people get so caught up in the story, they actually start thinking it's real.
And that opens another giant gates of problems, but that's aside from the point. The point of the matter is, though, a lot of the structure, I can't English right now. A lot of the structures, classifications, and ideologies from Lovecraft, although started from a very twisted and dark place from a man that looks very much like a serial killer, as Hubs pointed out a couple of weeks ago.
It does. The picture I saw of him just looks...
It looks like he just came into school and then killed everybody and then went back home just like, hello, mother dear.
Kinda, yeah.
Got that look like
Damien.
a propane tank with a lighter right
He just needs a little bicycle and ride around like a hospital as he murders people.
Come play with us forever and ever.
But he is not a murderer, as we know.
As far as we know.
As far as we know.
As far as we know.
He wasn't
He
riding
could have
around
ascended
town.
into the Cthulhian god realm or something. We have no clue.
Although he hasn't killed anybody. There is actually, if you look online, a website that keeps a running counter of people who have died in Cthulhian-related cults.
Are you
and the
serious?
total is actually over 1,000 right now.
Wow.
So Lovecraft inadvertently killed thousands.
Was it inadvertent, though?
No, like, he didn't imagine his creations would kill people. He was just like, I just wanted to terrify them so they would just end up not falling asleep. But sure, murdering them works.
As a horror novelist, and I know it's probably something that they would never admit to, wouldn't that be like your ultimate goal? Your book scared the shit out of somebody
and
that it
at the same time. It's a catch-22 with a horror novelist because it's kind of like, I want them to be so scared they'll probably try to do the same stuff I write about, but at the same time that's me being liable as the creator, whether I'm alive or dead. And that's a heavy thing on a lot of people's consciences, because then it's like, yes, this would be awesome, but no.
I wouldn't even think of it like that. If I create a book and people start killing themselves because the book is that great, that's less people I get to sell the sequel to. That's what I would.
Wow.
Shweebe's his husband, everybody.
If you're a psychopath, I don't think you care.
True.
I'm not saying that H.P. Lovecraft was a psychopath. I don't know the man.
No, he's probably a psychopath.
No. But the guy who made Tide Pods look so delicious. That shows you.
Oh wait, the next new craze is going to be the cotton candy up in the attic.
I know, right?
I thought we were done when there was freaking, what is that, anal chugging or whatever.
No, that's never going out of style for morons.
Yeah, that's a fast way to die. Don't do it, kids. Say no. That anal chugging.
Instead, die the most easy ways by praising to Cthulhu. And then when you're done at that, summon Yog-Sothoth. And then when you're done with that, just get a lot of stuff done. Sacrifice yourself to Azathoth up in the sky. Make sure that you get that good sacrifice, that he wakes up just enough to pull you into a different dimension and just rip you apart. You know, just those small fancy things.
Disclaimer. That was sarcasm.
One thing I love about the Cthulhian lore is that no matter what, which one of the Cthulhian deities, no matter whether they're the old ones, great ones, the outer gods, the old gods, any one of them, the more you know about them, like actually know, not like, oh, I think I know. No, actually learn of them, the more it takes from you mentally and physically. You will literally go insane by coming in contact with these beings.
But Phoenix,
It
I'm
literally
already
drives
insane.
you crazy.
Like in the story or like in real life?
Would it make him insane instead?
Yes.
Well, Vinny just said he was insane. I was like, would that make him sane instead?
He'd pull a Joker and go hyper sane.
Hyper sane.
Hyper sane. Oh God, everybody wrong.
Joker reached a state of existence of insanity that was so profound, he became sane again. He went full circle. But he still kills people because it's funny there.
I mean, it's kind of funny in Gotham, because everyone's just like, we're not going to kill you in Arkham. Really? Because I just murdered 1,000 people. Yes, we know, but we think we're going to reform you. About 5 seconds later, well, I've got my suit back. Time to start killing more people.
The Joker.
Matter of fact, now that I think about it, if from what Aaron and my friend Julian told me about how the new story of DC Rebirth is going on in the comics, since a lot of the Justice League now are new gods, what if they all of a sudden developed a new story about how the Lovecraftian gods took human form to try and destroy all the heroes to bring Azathoth to destroy the universe again for the ultimate reboot?
Oh, Jesus.
I want Cthulhu to put his fist up Superman's ass. And
That would be
I
slightly...
would love that for so many reasons.
But the only one that can't die is Batman.
Oh, they can't get rid of their cash cow. They're still jerking them off and trying to get that money semen, just like...
Like, give me more!
Hold on, what other villain would not face you off again? Quick, make a Clayface game.
I don't want that kind of a glorified death for Superman. If anything, I want him to get stuck in Cthulhu's wiggly beard thing and just suck strangulation. That's all I want. He should not have a glorified death of a fist to the earth with him. No, thank you.
No, nothing.
Superman just not
up the ass.
That's still too glorified. I want him strangled in Cthulhu's beard. This is what I want. I don't have an action figure.
And now he's
This is Superman. I want him just like beard all just... That's what I want.
Puppet?
Superman, get out of my beard. You're tickling me. Thank you.
I just imagine it's Davy Jones from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies,
Right?
just looking at him just like, "Whoa, you got out of my beard."
So is Superman just like a glorified plant?
Yes, he's the ultimate plant hippie because he tries to act like a goddamn Boy Scout fighting for truth and justice when he kills more people than anyone else in DC.
But if you deprive him of the yellow sun, he is basically worthless.
Yes, if you give him a red sun, but we're not talking about Superman.
Because fuck Superman. We're going on to Cthulian stuff, which is way more entertaining.
Oh no, you really want to fuck with Superman? Get some pink kryptonite.
Oh yeah, make him gay as fuck.
Yes.
Multiple
No,
colored
wait. We'll save this for another podcast. Back to Squid Faces. Come on.
Back to Squid Faces.
Sure.
But yeah, there are a lot of different ideas people could definitely utilize Lovecraftian horrors for, like I said, with Davy Jones' aesthetic for the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, using the face of Cthulhu to activate the curse of him falling in love with Calypso, blending in two different mythologies of like a sea goddess and an eldritch horror, just being like, I wanna fuck you so bad.
Calypso! Sorry.
No, you're fine. The one thing that I remember movie-wise that's very Cthulian was the first Hellboy movie, where what's-his-face? Rasputin gets Hellboy and tries to get him to end the whatever, thinking that he was going to rule over Hellboy and the 7 gods that are like out in outer space and in these giant crystal things, which look very Cthulian, tentacly tickle the earth type stuff, which is nasty.
What about the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 on the intro?
I will watch
That's
either of those
less.
movies.
That's less Cthulhian and more just Marvel wanting to make aliens that look Cthulhian.
Okay.
Like they take notes from like the Divine Comedy more for their aliens in a sense. Like how they thought that instead of a dog for Cerberus in the Divine Comedy, they thought it was just a worm with 3 heads and legs and shit. It's stupid.
Teeth. Lots of teeth.
I'm like, why the fuck would it be worms? Its name is
Cerberus.
Spot in Greek.
That's funny.
Well, Hydra would be the worms.
Yes, that's what I thought, but it's just like, Dante, what crack were you smoking? No, I gotta do the clip. What kind of heroin were you on, boy? And what kind of cocaine were you sniffing?
On to the Divine Comedy, yes.
No, that's for later, Aaron. That's for later. Your anus
That's a
is
whole
not
other
gonna take
subject.
that much more.
But when did comedy become tragedies and tragedies become comedies?
Shakespeare.
Schadenfreude.
Both. But now that I think about it, what would you guys make for a Lovecraftian movie now that I think about it?
Ooh. Wait, we'll say
Well, actually, a pretty decent one that I saw a little while back.
No,
was,
not one you've seen, one that you could make yourself.
one you would make yourself.
Well, I honestly would have went about this way. I liked the story of Cabin in the Woods. It's
Oh yeah, where like all of the ancient horrors and gods actually exist, and this cabin sits atop this secret bunker where they sacrifice these teenagers at this cabin to keep the gods sedated or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's designed to keep the gods asleep as a Thoth.
I thought that was actually quite ingenious the way that that movie.
And
Let's
there's
get to it
like
in a minute.
50 or however many houses just like this all over the world, and this was the final house, and they were like, do it! You have to play it by the book. And they were like, no, fuck it.
I'm gonna
Foot.
get stoned instead.
Yeah. I loved it because it was so. Me and Jenny thought it was going to be a boring horror movie, another horror movie about a cabin in the woods where teenagers go freaking stir crazy and start killing each other for some reason, and it ends up bigger, much bigger than that.
But if I was to make a movie, it would be something akin to that, where the entire movie is spent the main characters trying to figure out how to survive, when in actuality, their death would have saved everything, but them living causes everything to die.
Like a bittersweet story.
Yeah, no happy ending. Because everything still gets destroyed.
I've always had this thought about movies, and I get it. There are certain movies that just need to end the way they did because of the story.
Right.
You know, even if it's not a happy ending.
There was plenty of room on that door for Jack. Fuck
Thank
that.
you!
But
That's a whole nother discussion.
I've always been, a fan of movies to escape reality and to escape despair. And I mean, I get the whole horror feeling and being afraid, and then at the end there's kind of resolution, and maybe the person you wanted to live didn't live, but somebody lived. There
Right.
may not have been a happy ending, but it wasn't a completely fuck all ending. Like The Mist.
Fuck them.
Let's not talk about The Mist.
No, The Mist is a great freaking movie. Don't get me wrong. Every second of that movie is pretty damn good until the last 20 seconds. Then it's all fucked.
That's just it, though. In the movie, the ending that they have is not the ending in the book. In the book, if you read it, what happens at the end of the movie happens, and he keeps driving. He gets out and goes, all right, now I'm going to end this. Gets out of the vehicle and starts walking. They're still in the car with what happened. No military show up. There's no that instant stab of karma. He just goes to walk into the mist, and he fades away. That's the end of the book. Perfect ending. Beautiful.
I don't know. I think they both sound like they suck ass.
Well, while those
that's
two discuss
I
this,
feel like
Sally,
the best horror games are like ones with bad endings. I think they're the most interesting because like Slender Man's one of my favorites. Like you don't know if your character lives, but at the end you don't mind because you went through this journey and you saw like how terrifying it was, and it just goes black, just seen on his face. Like I love endings like that. Just games and movies in general. I don't know.
I hate it. I hate games or movies that I can't watch twice because the ending destroyed it. I hate. Yeah, I like the way Silent Hill games had it set up. They have a good ending, a bad ending, an alien ending. They have all these endings, and you're not really sure left up to know which one's the right ending, because the sequels never like take right after the ones before them, except for what Silent Hill, the Room. That one is a direct sequel, isn't it? Silent Hill 4, The Room.
No, I don't know enough about the Silent Hill franchise.
And I don't know if it really counts as an alien ending, because sometimes it's just a what the fuck. Like the Silent Hill.
Anyways, doesn't matter. Like, I just hate in stories and in entertainment and movies and things like that, the finality of something irritates the shit out of me. Because everything in this world is final. You know, there's a finality to everything in this world. Right. I want to be somewhere else for that time period. Not always, you know, obviously. But like, I hate it. If a horror game's got a bad ending, it should have a good ending too. Not.
Have you played Outlast, Aaron?
We have.
Did you like the ending of Outlast?
I don't even remember it.
I actually liked the ending of Outlast. I thought it was
about Outlast. Let's no spoilers, please.
Okay.
We haven't actually played it yet. So.
I liked it.
Keep your blinders on, because there's wieners.
I like how this diverted from what would you make a Lovecraftian movie to just like all of a sudden horror game stuff.
It doesn't take much to get back to that.
Technically, the bodies that belong to those wieners are kind of H.P. Lovecraftian, from what I've been hearing.
Well, a lot of horror was inspired by that, so we don't know what went in the minds of creators of Outlast or any other horror game. Maybe inspiration from that. So.
My Lovecraftian movie would be, I don't know any of the gods' names, but this one would be Wake, and he would eat the earth, become the earth, and it would just be a giant ball of nasty. A few colonies of people managed to escape, and they have to go and colonize somewhere else, kind of like AE. I don't know if you watched that horrible movie, but it's something like that.
I did.
And they had to go and find another like space colony thing and whatever, and make a whole new Earth and shit. And too bad that is gone. Either they go back and destroy it as a possible ending, or they're just like, whatever. We're out here now. We're stuck.
Actually, now that I think on it, the actual the aliens from Titan AE remind me of a couple of the Elder God, especially the Queen.
Wait, which one?
The Queen in the Titan AE.
I thought it was just called AE. The cartoon one?
Yeah, the cartoon one's Titan AE.
Oh, it's a Titan AE? Oh, okay. I don't remember. I just thought it was called AE.
That Reed did the music for. No. Yes. Is it? Can you take me higher?
To a place where I've gone.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, wow. When was this shit made? Now I'm curious.
90s.
2000. Wow.
2000? Oh, that was close.
You said 2000. Well, this dance makes no sense now.
Just a wobbly little world with just tentacles all over the place, just like woo, and it goes up
wobble, wobble.
with Mars every now and then, like
Beast with a billion bags.
That is kind of Azathoth related, but that's more or less if Azathoth wanted to fuck everybody. Which I would be like, no. Come on. Would you? No. Come on. Would no. Come on. No. Oh.
Just have like a fly swatter with you? No. Get away. Smack it.
Everybody here's played Skyrim, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Fucking, I hate that god. I hate it so much. Whoever voiced it, you're beautiful, but I hate you.
Hermaeus
Vermamora. fucking hate that god with a passion.
Who?
Especially if you get the, what's it called? No, is it Tamriel? No.
Bloodborne. No.
No.
Dragonborn.
No. Is it
DLC.
Dragonborn DLC? Okay, yeah. Where you go to the red volcano place and whatever, and he's a whole fucking storyline outside of just being a god in Skyrim, where you only meet him like twice. And this one, it's all about him. I hate him. He's nasty. Ugh.
It's
Hermamora.
Hermaeus Mora. He is clearly Cthulian in nature. He is a
Oh,
giant eyeball with tentacles. Lots of tentacles.
Oh,
Really?
Azathoth finally has a body.
No, not Azathoth.
They based this off a different one.
Sithagwa. Sithagwa?
Oh, so like
This
a
one?
gazer in a lot of other games?
No?
Something like that.
Like a gazer.
Sithagwa is a.
Oh yeah,
blacksmith.
Kisalhwa. Yeah, I know that one.
Oh.
It's
okay.
the guy.
I'm
It's the
so
guy that kind of looks like if Sauron got tentacles.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Oh my.
there he is. Sithalpa? No, that's not it.
No, that's a symbol thing.
No, that's not
Whatever
it.
his name is, yeah.
Yeah, whoever the hell he is.
This
there
one,
he
there it is.
Siegwa.
no, you didn't.
Yagwa?
Siahwa.
Iago?
It's
Yahweh.
Y-A with two dots over it, E-G-A.
Sapabui, whatever his name is.
Right.
Yeah, whatever. He's basically an eyeball with tentacles attached to it, and that is Hermaeus Mora to the T. And it's not just that. Siegwa's story is that he offers a lot of knowledge, but at the cost of your memories.
Basically, I'll trade you the knowledge that you want for your knowledge.
But it's not
Hermamora
even like
is-
he gives you true of what to take what you know and make it his own.
Right. Hermamora is pretty much similar in that fact. He is a being that knows all and has to know anything new. Basically, he's a nosy, busybody little twat. And at least in Skyrim, I don't know if they've used a figure much like Sifwagawagawa in any other kind of game, but Hermamora, Hermamora, anyways, for lack of, I don't know, proper understanding of this character, I guess, more or less forces your character to go out to this village who has been like, fuck no, we're not telling you our secrets. Hermamora's like, I need your secrets. I'm curiouser than a cat. I have to know. I'm sending in my little envoy to, like, befriend you and stuff, and then kill your leader because he has all the secrets. I hate him. I don't know if you ever get to kill Hermamora. I don't think
No.
so, anyways. Or
He's a
ever
god.
get that
You cannot
shit
kill him.
back.
You don't get to kill any of the gods in Skyrim or Elder Scrolls, as far as I know.
Which is kind of
Actually,
I at
sad.
least want to beat him with
You
stick.
do get to face off against the one that
Dagon.
the one that the dagger was named after.
Dagon. Something Dagon.
Dagon, yeah.
Dagon!
Dagon,
Oh my! I
that
can't
one.
believe I forgot about Dagon.
But he's not actually dead. He can be resurrected.
Oh yeah, you
Right.
just destroyed his physical form,
Which
Right.
was very weak at the time.
and it would take thousands and thousands and thousands of years for him to be able to gain enough strength to do it again. But you technically killed a god.
Ooh, typical stuff. But yeah. God damn it.
Tentacles.
Oh yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
A beholder.
Yeah. Oh, we have Dragon's Dogma, don't we? Or
Yes.
did we?
Well, D&D itself stole the beholder from Cthulian lore anyway.
Mm.
In fact, a lot of the gods from D&D are based around the pantheon of Cthulhu. If I remember correctly, there's a
Whoa.
7-headed deity amongst the Cthulian lore. I can't remember what his name was, but D&D has been directly quoted as taking it and making it dragons instead. And naming it
Dragons, yo.
Yeah, named it Tiamat, the god
Oh,
of
yeah.
dragons. And it has 7 heads, one for each one of the dark-colored dragons.
There's not that many dark colors.
There's blue, there's green.
How is red considered a dark color?
certain shades of red can be dark.
That's not what you said. You just said dark colors.
dragons.
I want to see this fluorescent ash dragon thing that's in charge of all the
really
dark
is.
colors.
Look up a picture of Tiamat. It really is very
How do you spell Tiamat?
T-I-A.
M-A-T?
T-I-A.
Spoon! The rest of it!
M-A-T.
The Tatami? Tatamat? Tatami
Tiamat.
Tatamat? Oh, he's a fucking Skittle dragon. What is this?
I told you.
Magic Skittles, bitch!
It's like the Hulks! You got a green one? So this is the strength one. And you got the red one, which is the super strength one. And you got, I'm assuming that's black? I don't know. White? And then the blue one, because they're sad all the time.
You know she didn't touch on the color black or white. That's because she's trying not to be racist.
I can't, that looks like a green. Fuck you, you fucking face.
No, but you didn't describe what the black and the white Hulks are.
I don't know what they are. And actually,
African and Anglo-Saxon. Get it right.
I didn't know they were black and white Hulk. Thank
What
you.
about Viking?
Who?
Besides just Anglo-Saxon, there's Viking whites.
Yeah, so there. Mm.
They were barbarians, and they were to be wiped by the superior breed.
You